What's up, guys? G-Man here. About to react to Off the Mic Sports Network, and the title is Naomi is the personification of the woman's evolution. And I want to say shout out to Naomi, man. Shout out to her cashing in and winning the women's world title, which I thought she was not going to do that. I thought she was going to cash in. It was a possibility she was going to cash in Evolution, but thought it was going. I never thought it was going to be a possibility that it was going be for the world title. I thought it was gonna be for the women's championship that Tiffany got. I thought they were gonna pull the trigger on SummerSlam, but they just pulled it on her winning at Evolution against Rhea and Io, and now she's got her moment, man. And I hope this reign just go well. And she already got a match against those two at SummerSlam, and man, and she haven't been champion since for 8 years, and that long. Ever since she came at the WWE, her rank, her her tenure has been good, very very great. Like including this year, she turned heel and she won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she finally won a women's championship since like 2017. It's been that long, so I'm just proud of Naomi. But we're gonna get into what Mike thinks about Naomi.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Top Rope on the Off the Mic Sports Network. So, the start of Raw, and really, we basically got a preview of Evolution 3 because the first 90 minutes of the show is nothing but women's matches and women's segments, at least in the ring. There was some backstage stuff that it did involve men, but I said this on my post show and I clocked it. I literally looked at a time. I looked at my computer clock, and I basically looked at it and said, okay, 9:35 Eastern was the first male superstar that wasn't a referee that stepped in the ring since Saturday, and that was Gunther. Gunther stepped into the ring at 9:35 Eastern time, an hour and 35 minutes into Raw, and that was the first time that a male that wasn't a referee stepped into a WWE ring in 2 days. The women made a statement. And no woman made a bigger statement this weekend than Naomi. And I've already sung her praises. I'm so thrilled for her that she got the moment that she's
Facts, man.
she
Facts.
owned this segment to start off the show, where she owned the audience and basically said, "Yeah, shut up with the you deserve a shit." She pretty much owned the segment as the dominant, well, not the dominant, but really like the very villainous heel and the evil heel. She really owned the segment with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and she's like, "Yeah, y'all got to get to the back of the line." And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this title match, this triple threat at SummerSlam, another triple threat involving Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And don't sleep on Naomi; she can do good in the ring. So I'm glad she's got a chance to walk into this match as a champion. But all of this conversation over the weekend was about the women's evolution. And obviously, the big date on the 13th was the 10-year anniversary. And I talked about this, the 10-year anniversary of the really unofficial start of the evolution, or the women's revolution, as they call it. And then it became an evolution, where Stephanie McMahon introduced Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, and Becky Lynch in the same segment. Nikki Bella was out there. Paige was out there. Alicia Fox was out there. Brie Bella was out there. Tamina was out there. And then, of course, Naomi was out there. But I think people are missing the point, because everybody talks about the four horsewomen. I'm not trying to disrespect the four horsewomen in the slightest. I'm not trying to disrespect some of the key stars of today that have become out of this evolution. But if you sit back and think about it, I don't think you can tell the story of the women's evolution without Naomi. Naomi, you can make the argument, is like the personification of the women's evolution. She is the perfect quintessential example of what the women's evolution is all about. This woman started in Florida Championship Wrestling, I think 16 years ago. She ends up on the NXT season 3 that was won by Caitlyn, by the way. You guys remember Caitlyn? So that AJ Lee was on that season, by the way. And Naomi was just, she was hanging out with Kelly Kelly, and, they knew her as an Orlando Magic cheerleader. Like, fine. Then she comes out with Brodus Clay as a Funkadactyl. She then gets out of that. She's Jimmy Uso's, we then know her as Jimmy Uso's wife. Then she turns heel. Then she starts Team Bad. That's what leads into this whole spawning of the women's revolution. And then she's the Glow, and that's where she finally was crowned as a women's champion twice. Um, and then, obviously, the Glow was a lot of her gimmick for really 5 years before in 2022. We all know what happened. She's a women's tag team champion with Sasha Banks, and they both walked out of the company in 2022 when Vince McMahon was still there. They put the titles on the desk, and she had to go basically try it again and reset everything. And she went to TNA, had or when it was still Impact, had an amazing title run. She beats Deonna Purrazzo, has an incredible run with the title, and then comes back at the Royal Rumble last year, and she's still the Glow, and everybody loves her. And then she gets overshadowed again by Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And of course, like, Bianca and Jade are incredible athletes and incredible specimens in their own right. The big three. So when we get to the end of this year with that mysterious whodunit angle, and everybody was speculating that it was going to be Naomi, I don't think any of us could have imagined what this could have done to Naomi after 16 years doing this. She has evolved from everything that I just told you guys into the person that she is today. The walking caution, I guess you could call her. Proceed with caution. And I could not be more happy.
Yeah, I gotta agree, man. Like Naomi's evolution or revolution, whatever you like to say, about it. Like it's been great, man. Where she came from, for being a cheerleader, coming to FCW NXT, then becoming a Funk the Dactyl with Brodus Clay and with Cameron, and she then started a faction with Sasha Banks and Tamina Snuka called Team Bad, and she went on from the Glow gimmick. Then she went on to her and Sasha becoming tag champs. Then they both leaving the WWE because they didn't like what's going on creatively and all that, and had disagreements. Then she come back at last year's Rumble, and she's goes on a run, man. She with Bianca and Jade, and they did the angle with Jade getting got pushed off and onto the car, and when she came back and attacked Naomi, that's when Naomi did her bag and became a heel. And this heel run has been working very well for her, and I'm just like saying, like, I'm proud for her. I'm proud of her, and that's how I say it. She won it when she won this contract and she won a title. That's why I just hope that she like has like a long, decent reign because she deserve it, man. Like, and she haven't won a title in WWE like a singles title in like 7 years. I say, like since 2017. So this has been well worth it, for her. So I'm just happy that she champ. And I just hope that the same thing goes for Natalia one day. Like she can go on a run. That's why I say one day when they only gotta be this year, like probably next year, she just turn on Maxine and she dig her back, have a great heel run, become Intercontinental Champion, something like that. Cause that's the belt she wants. But I just hope Natalia have a run like that. But anyways, get back into the video. I'm just proud of Naomi.
For this woman. I continue to sing the praises. She is universally beloved, universally respected. You saw almost every person in the locker room, character or not, were congratulating her. There are people in that locker room now, at least in NXT, that watched Naomi when she was a Funkadactyl, when she was the Glow. And now here she is. She's on top of this women's division. She's heading into a triple threat match at SummerSlam in a fucking stadium. She's the women's champion walking in there. She was at a SummerSlam 8 years ago defending against Natalia and lost. And at that point, they were talking about a glow in the dark belt. It was a gimmick. And all due respect to her, she's gotten so good in the ring and really can carry a great match to a lot. And she's really become one of the best people that they got working there, but there was really no character to her. So this is what I talk about: evolution and evolving and changing. And Becky Lynch has been able to do it. Mercedes did it and went off and did her own thing. And some people could say she may have not evolved. She's still Becky Lynch. Like, everybody gets on her saying she's Becky Hogan. I mean, she's elevated a bunch of people. Bayley continues to just change the game. Like, but I think everybody is losing sight of the fact that everybody looks at Paige. Everybody looks at, um, everybody looks at AJ Lee. Um, you could point to just about anybody. But I just gave you really just concrete evidence. Naomi's been through everything. I even forgot to mention Total Divas. Total Divas. People think about the Bellas. Trinity Fatu, I don't think gets nearly enough credit for her contributions to this women's division over the last 15 years. You can't tell the story of this evolution without her. And as I said, I think she is the personification of exactly what the meaning
Her
of
and
women's
her and Natalia
evolution, the
don't.
women's revolution was supposed to be about. Evolving from a diva down in Florida Championship Wrestling to a damn Funkadactyl who got kicked off of a WrestleMania because they ran out of time for John Cena, because John Cena and The Rock needed to do their shit, which, I understand. And then, Team Bad, The Glow for 8 years, walking out of the company, betting on yourself, going to TNA, being in The Glow, being overshadowed by Jade and Bianca. And now she even said it in her promo, her first promo. She said she outgrew Bianca Belair. And in some respect, she kind of has. She has become her own woman. And maybe, we'll never know if this was always the plan. But in a weird way, what they did at Evolution really shows you just how much Naomi has evolved. Because she was, you never could, like, so a lot of people be like, man, you can't build a brand around this woman. Like, and now she goes away from the feud that was really defining her career. She's now the women's champion going into it with two women who literally had one of the best women's matches, maybe WWE history. And she interrupted it in the last 45 seconds and literally stole the women's title. I don't know what this title run is going to be. I hope it at least gives her something. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that she has evolved in so many different ways, more so than I think any woman in the history of this women's division. Because, like I said, nobody's gone from, like, Diva Florida Championship Wrestling, from being an Orlando Magic cheerleader, to Funkadactyl, Glow, Team Bad, all these other things, Total Divas. And here she is. She's sitting. She closed the, and she was the biggest talking point from one of the great shows of WWE's last 2 years. An all women's pay per view was highlighted by Naomi, Trinity Fatu, and she deserves every single bit of it. Congratulations, Naomi. I know I have to proceed with caution, because I know even though I will praise you, you will probably tell me I'm full of shit, because you are quite the savage on Twitter. So even then, thank you, Trinity. Maybe she'll do that, but proceed with caution. I'm so thrilled for this woman. And yeah, we'll have a lot more coming here on the channel. A lot of great stuff. SummerSlam kicking in high gear, everybody. It's heating up, everybody. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Shout out to that boy Mike, bro, from Mike Off the Mic Sports Network. Great video, great video. Like I said, bro, like that, like he was saying, like the evolution for Naomi, man, when she overcame to what she is now, is great, great stuff. Great stuff for real. And like I said, man, I just hope this title reign just go well, and I hope they just don't. Like I said, man, I just don't want this to be like a month and a half reign. Like, she deserved a longer reign than that. Like, having her, if she do retain this title against Io and Rhea, I think she will. That have her losing to Stephanie Valkyria is not the right way to go. And even if they do some crazy stuff and have her end up losing the title at SummerSlam, like that would just be, man, total disrespect. And I just don't like that. Jane would just make me mad, bro. I'm like, man, bro, this product will make me not watch it no more, bro. But like I said, man, congrats to Naomi. You deserve this moment. And like I said, I will continue keep watching, see what you got going on. And I said, hopefully this rain go well. They book you right the right way with this rain. And tell me how y'all feel in the comments. And if y'all enjoyed the video. And G Man out.